morning, yogis. Just come onto your back. Maybe having your knees bent with your feet on the earth, or you could have your legs extended, up to you. I have this little extra cushion today for, we'll be on our knees a little bit, and we're going to do a sideline posture in a bit, so it might feel nice to have a little extra cushion under your knees and your hips. Take a few moments to land here now. Notice how you're feeling in your body. Noticing your energy and mind state, so that we can work with all of those, adjusting the practice to how we're feeling in our body, mind, energetically. And then let's connect with our breath. Maybe take a big inhale. Exhale, sigh it out. And again, big inhale. And then breathe. Naturally, smooth and easy. And then to start our warm-ups, let's just start with a little supine cat-cow. So you can bring your arms by your sides. If your legs aren't bent, then bend them now. Plant the feet on the earth. Tilt your pelvis up towards the sky so your low back goes down onto the earth. And then tilt the pelvis forward so your tailbone goes down. You have that forward tilt to your pelvis, arched low back. And go back and forth like that. It's not going to be as dramatic as when we do it seated or standing. Flowing with your breath, inhaling when you come into the arch, exhale when you come into the tuck and press low back. And a few more times like that. Seeing if you can deepen this motion. Another rocking, which feels nice. Feel your whole body kind of gliding a little bit on the mat. And then, kind of conclude one more round. And then come to stillness. Come to a neutral place so that your pelvis is neither tucked nor tilted. You've got a little, natural curve to your lumbar spine. And then let's start to get some movement in our hips. So let's bring our right knee in toward our chest. You can give it a squeeze. You can even keep the left leg bent how it is in that, reverse table position. And then, just really pull it all up to your shoulder. That feels really good. And then extend the leg, release your arms by your sides. Give a little tone to the belly. You keep your foot dorsiflex, knee bent as much as you need to. And then extend through the heel as you lower the leg to hover over the earth. And then bend the knee, bring it back in, and extend again. So like a single leg bicycle. Just to get this half of the pelvis kind of warming up and lubricated, getting the synovial fluid into the hip socket. Warming up our muscles too a little bit, our calf and our hamstring. Maybe one more round. And the next time the leg goes up to the sky, maybe hold it there. You can even bring your hands back and take hold of the hamstring and hold it in. You can add flexion to the foot, the ankle, or rotation if that feels good. Just honor where you're feeling, what you're feeling in your calf and hamstring today. Maybe you feel you want to get a deeper stretch, you might want to pull it in. It's up to you. Keep the breath flowing. One more. And then slowly release the leg, bend the knee, plant the foot, and pause. So here we go to the other side. So bring the left knee in toward your chest, give it a squeeze, your foot's in dorsiflexion. Pull, 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 send the leg up to the sky. Release your arms, and they'll do those single leg bicycles again, keeping, extending through the heel, and keep extending as you lower the leg down to a hover place. Belly tones to support the low back. Bring it in, extend, and lower. So keep going like that a few times. I don't know, just about 8 times or so. A couple more times. The next time the leg comes up towards the sky, hold it there. Maybe bring your hands up to give it some support and pull it in a little bit more. You can add movement to the ankle if you want. But get a nice stretch to the calf and hamstring. Warm yourself up for what's to come. All right. And then let's release that leg back down. Pause and notice. Take a few breaths, integrating the work that we just did, noticing how you feel so you can move on. Always making this practice feel good for you. Right. And so now let's add a little rotation to our spine. So open up your legs, mat width apart. You can bring your arms out like a T, and we're going to do a windshield wiping. So let your legs drop to the right as you roll over the back of your head and you look to the left. And then bring gaze and knees back to center and go the other direction. And just rock back and forth like that. Again, this is sort of another rocking movement that feels calming to the nervous system. A good awakening for the body, getting rotation in our spine. More movement in the hips. This next time that you go to whatever direction, you can hold for a breath or two. See if you can draw that internally rotated hip down towards the earth. You can even bring the opposite foot on top of that knee, if it doesn't aggravate the knee, to draw it down a little bit more. And start to get a stretch in the front of the thigh, your hip flexor and your psoas muscles. So today we're going to be doing some focus on our IT band. So it's this sort of tendinous fascia muscle that runs from the hip all the way to the outside of the knee. And it helps to support your hip and knee stability. And let's go back to let's go to the other side for that holding, if you're doing a holding. And so sometimes it could, if you have IT band syndrome, you could feel pain in your knee or your low back, like almost like a sciatica type of a thing. And what it could be from excessive exercise, like hiking, cycling, running, those kinds of, maybe, as I said, explosive movements like jump backs in yoga or CrossFit, those kinds of things. But it also could be aggravated from excessive sitting, where your glutes can get a little bit overstretched from sitting, and then the psoas muscle, the hip flexor in the front, can become short, and both of them are weakened, and then this can put some strain on the fascia on the outside. So we're going to work on strengthening it and stretching it with hopefully this idea of creating more awareness around this tissue, which should be really fluid. Fascia is supposed to be fluid, but sometimes it gets a little tight and restricted. So we want to try to, introduce a little bit more flexibility there, but also some strengthening and just some general awareness. We'll also do some strengthening to our glutes and stretching of the psoas muscle as we progress in today's practice. So let's, from here, roll over onto the right side. You could keep your legs extended. Here's somebody trying to come in. Let's let somebody else in. Let's see, who is it? Ooh, 2 people. All right, so admit. Here we go. Okay, great. So if you're just joining, we are, oops, okay, so admit here. Okay. So if you're just joining, we have already done a few warm-ups on our back, and then we're rolling onto our side for some leg lifts. You could come onto your forearm, like with your legs extended, or you could be your head in your head in your hand, right? And your feet are dorsiflexed. So try in this movement to keep your hips parallel. Don't let that top hip track forward, so don't roll. That's why I put my blanket here, so I had a little cushion for my bony hip here. I don't know, it's not that bony, but it feels really bony when I'm on the earth. So what'll happen is we'll have our top arm in front of us for a little support, give a little tone to the belly. We're gonna lift our leg, bring it forward, hover it over the earth with your foot dorsiflexed, lower the foot down towards the earth, lift it back up, and then bring it back. So that's it, and then lower it down. So that's the movement. Lift, extend forward, lower, don't let it touch, lift, and bring it back, and then lower it. Now keep your core engaged while you're doing this, and then try to not let that top hip go forward. So especially as you're extending the leg, you may have to draw that top hip back a little. Engage the core as you're lowering the foot and bringing it back up, and back to, parallel with the bottom leg, and then down, and lift, and keep going. So for those who just joined, we are working on our IT band today, because a lot of, I've had some requests that they've had some pain in their hip and knee, and that could be a signal of IT band syndrome. And so it might even imitate, you might feel pain in your knee when you're going downstairs, maybe you're going to feel a pain in your butt, like almost like a sciatica. And so this could be the IT band, which can get aggravated from excessive exercise like hiking and cycling, or it could be aggravated just from a weakness of the muscles, like your glutes from excessive sitting, and your psoas muscle, again, becomes shortened from excessive sitting. So let's do 2 more times. And who's counting? I'm just not the counter, I'm the chatter. And then lower down. Last time, lift, bring it forward, lower down, lift up, and bring it back. Good, and pause. So this not only will strengthen the IT band that runs from the hip to the outer knee, that kind of dense fascial tissue, even wrapped slightly forward, it really helps as a stabilizer for the hip and knee joints. Hopefully this will even strengthen to have the outer glutes. So because we're kind of working the outer thigh, let's work the inner thigh too. So you can take that top leg and bring it back behind you, or you can bring it in front, dorsiflex the bottom foot, and then just raise and lower. We just want to work our muscles in pairs. So we work the outside, we want to work the inside, we work the front, we want to work the back. And if you love this, you can maybe incorporate this into your everyday routine. Good. And the next time, hold that up there, hold, 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 hold. Even add some little pulsation. Pulse, pulse, pulse. Oh yeah, feels so good. Getting the heat going in our body. It's like chilly, we all acknowledged how chilly it was this morning, so get some heat going. And then lower down. Release the top leg. And even just roll onto your belly. Just take a rest for a moment, like in crocodile. You can stack your arms. You can let the feet open a little bit. And then here, just because it's good for us, let's squeeze our glutes. So squeeze your gluteus maximus and then release. And then squeeze, contract, contract, and release. And do that a few times. Squeezing your glutes, strengthening those muscles. Again, they get a little bit weakened. We can even get weakened with some of that other exercise I talked about when your quadriceps like little dominate. So It's good to just contract and release and strengthen those muscles. We'll do some work to actively strengthen them as well. Last time, give them a contraction and release and prepare for the other side. So I'm gonna switch sides so I can still keep facing the camera. All right, so now you're on your opposite side, whatever that is. Find your hand position that feels comfortable for you. Maybe you're higher on your forearm, that feels better in your shoulder, or maybe you're, head in hand. All right, left or top arm in front of you for support, belly toned. Keep your hips stacked as best you can. Both feet dorsiflexed, lift your top leg. Send it forward so it's kind of like a foot over the earth. Lower it down, lift, bring it back, and lower. And keep going. Nice. Good job. So you're not lifting too high. It's just maybe a foot or two off the earth. Oops. And then lift before you come back. I almost forgot. So lift, extend forward, lower down, lift, and come back. Maybe even slow it down. So we're not going too fast, really working with a lot more control. I'm having to really recruit my core here when I bring the leg forward. Last time. Good job. Oh, that feels good. And then let's work our inner thighs. So you can bring that right leg back or in front, your top leg right back or in front, up to you. Bottom foot is dorsiflexed, raise and lower. Keep breathing. Maybe slow it down a little bit. And then hold it up there, hold. Add some pulsation. And then slowly lower up. Release your top leg. Let's roll back onto our belly. And then we're going to press up into a child's pose. So child or puppy, up to you. Wide-legged or legs together. And sit back and notice how that felt. So I'm actually opening up my legs a little bit, so I'm getting a little stretch in my groin, which feels nice. Feeling a nice stretch to the outer hips. Pressing my sits bones back toward my heels. Melting my heart. And if you have the IT band syndrome, this could feel even a little uncomfortable for you. This could feel, just a lot. You could feel the tension in the hips or the knees. So you might want to lift yourself up. All right, take one more breath here. Now we're going to rise up to dog pose. If you have your blanket here, you can leave it if you want, because we're going to do some knee down lunges, and it might be nice to have that extra cushion for your knees. So maybe you can straddle it. So come up into your tabletop with your hands a little forward of the shoulders, curl toes under, keep knees bent, and send your hips to the sky. Focus on the upper body first as you ground your hands and lift your hips skyward. Head comes between your arms. Get length in your torso as you melt your heart towards the earth. And then maybe you want to pedal your feet. Keep lifting the hips. And then maybe you can bring your legs towards straighter as you let your heels become heavy. Engaging the fronts of your thighs. Maybe see if you can notice your kneecaps lift. Take a couple more breaths here. And then we're going to walk forward into a standing forward fold. So however you want to do it, you can just take your little steps. You could step high for fun if you like, just kind of a standing walking split. And then come into your forward fold. Good, nice. Let's rise up halfway. Exhale and fold again. Soften your knees until your belly's on your thighs. Bring your arms out like a T. You can even sweep them forward so you come into an Utkatasana. And then feel as you're grounding your legs, use your strong glutes to rise you all the way up to standing. And then lower your arms by your side. Samastitihi. Good job. All right, I'm moving back just a touch. Nice. Let's do a couple more warm-ups before we go on to our sun salutation sequence. So from here, I'm going to face forward for a moment. From here in our Tadasana, we'll take a big inhale and then exhale, go into a forward fold. So soften your knees, your hands can come onto your thighs, your shins, or the earth. Let me drop your head. And then bend both knees. Bring your left forearm onto your left thigh. And then bring your right leg towards straighter. Then you can lengthen your torso, rotate your torso to the right, and right arm to the sky. So this is a good stretch. You're probably going to be feeling it from the top of the hip right to the knee. So this is that IT band here. So if this is a little tight for you, this is an issue that you have, you might really notice it now. So breathe here. So breathe with it. Keep, lengthening, like drawing that hip up and back, broadening across your collarbones. Taking this twist from your upper back all the way up, maybe through the crown of your head as you look up towards your hand. One more breath here. And then slowly unwind, bend both knees. You can bring your right forearm onto the right knee. And then we'll lengthen our torso, lengthen the left leg, start that rotation. And feel this nice stretch from your left hip all the way down to your foot. And noticing the difference from one side to the other. Take one more breath. And then unwind. Good, good, good. Let's release our arms back down to the earth. Squatting down, back throat, Utkatasana. Rise all the way up to standing, arms by our side, Samastitihi. Okay, now let's take a little side bend as we step back into our lunges or our warrior sequence. So have your blocks handy, because you might want to use them for the knee down lunge, we're going to move into pyramid and revolve triangle today. So have the blocks handy. Meet up at the top of the mat space. And again, you can keep your blanket there for your knee just in case. All right, when you're ready, find your Tadasana. Feel the feet connecting to the earth. Drawing up from your feet. Nice strong legs, toned belly. Neutral pelvis, shoulders up, back, and down. A couple times like that. Up, back, and down. Last time. Good. All right. Now let's take a big inhale. Send our arms out to the sides, up to the sky. Get long. You can keep your arms shoulder width apart, or they can come together in prayer or Sapana Mudra. Let's fold to the right. Just a nice stretch. Good. And breathe here. There is always the option of bringing that left foot behind the right for a little deeper stretch here. Come back through center, fold to the left, and again, you can take your right leg back behind the left leg for the deeper stretch, getting at that IT band. Back to center, get long, maybe take an extension, lifting your heart, looking up and back, and then exhale, hinge from your hips, swan dive or forward fold, arms out to the sides. Good. Lift up halfway, get long from the hips to the crown of your head. Exhale, take that length back into your fold, soften your knees, and we're going to send our left leg back. You can sweep the sky and kind of take a little standing split. as you bend the knee and lower it down for your low lunge. Pause for a moment here, squaring the hips, lifting the back leg, making sure knee is over the ankle. Maybe so you can find a little space between your belly and your thigh. More length from crown of head to heel. Just don't miss this low lunge. And then we'll lower the knee down, the left knee down, and rise all the way up to knee down warrior one. Okay. And if you want, you could tip your hips forward a little bit, get a stretch in the front of your quadriceps, your psoas. You can get an extension by lifting your heart and gaze. Take whatever variation feels good for you. Breathe here. Maybe you're just still, in a more of a neutral and you're focusing on length rather than, kind of dipping into this, taking a little back bend. And then exhale, we will all rise up out of it as we straighten the right leg. So your hips go back, right leg straightens, toes lift. Maybe you need blocks here to go underneath your hands, totally fine. Lift up halfway, tone the belly, get even longer with your torso, and then melt your heart towards your knee. Honoring the knee, honoring the hamstrings and the calf. The more you lift the toes, this makes this a little bit more intense. Keep drawing your right hip back too. So here we go, straightening this, stretching this IT band. Breathing. One more. Now you can stay here for a couple more breaths. Or you could bring your left hand down onto the earth or a block, lift your torso up and start to rotate to the right. Right arm to the sky or on your hip. You can keep your arm here really. And breathe. Now keep again drawing that hip back, lengthening your torso, opening your heart, breathing, breathing. One more breath. Good. And then let's lower or de-rotate. Bend our knee, lift the back leg, back through low lunge. Then we're going to rise up to warrior one. So options, you can come up using the support of your right leg. You could just use the leg strength and core strength and just kind of roll up, which is really nice. Or you could send your arms forward and rise up. So however you get there, doesn't matter. Just come on up to warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. So the back heel is lifted, the back leg is active, knee is over the ankle. Belly's toned. Maybe your arms are to sky, whether they're together or wide, doesn't matter. You could add a little extension again if you like, if that felt good. Just honoring, what is it that you need this morning? Take one more breath. And then let's all straighten our front leg, ground our back leg. I'm even going to come into Sapana Mudra. That's the little steeple that you make with the hands. Good. So keep your back heel grounded. You may have to reposition yourself. Square your hips if it came out of alignment. Maybe that front hip was slightly forward from our lunging. So drop back. Getting ready for pyramid pose. And remember, the back heel grounds, even if the front knee needs to soften. Keep that right hip tracking back, left hip coming forward. Maybe you want to take an extension here. Lift up, a little balance challenging. And then exhale, hinge forward. And so as you're hinging, keep that right hip going back. Keep lengthening through your torso. Pause when your head's in line with your hips. Head's between your arms. You can stay here. You can even release your hands onto the right leg. So this is a great place to stay. But if you want to challenge, you can go deeper. With your core strength, just keep lowering yourself down, head to knee. Drawing right hip back, left hip forward. Left foot grounds. And the front knee could soften as much as you need to. You can even release your hands onto the earth. Maybe reaching back towards the back leg. Take one more breath here. And then we'll all lift up until our torso is in line with our hip. You can use a block if you want for your left hand. We're going to add a revolved triangle. So maybe the left hand goes on a block, maybe it comes onto your right shin or thigh. Doesn't matter. You may even want to shorten your stance if it's a little easier. Back leg still grounded, front knee softens. We keep our torso
at hip height and start to rotate from your belly. Then move up your chest, your neck. The right hand could rest on the hip or go up to the sky. And breathe here. Settle in, keep grounding the back leg. Drawing your right hip back. Feel that IT band stretch here maybe. Even if the knees soften, you might still feel that, right? Keep a long torso and feel the rotation through your torso. From your belly, your chest, the crown of your head. One more breath. And then let's unwind. Lower that right hand down to the earth. Soften the right knee. Hands are framing the right foot. And now we want to go back to a down dog pose. So if you want to, you could send that leg all the way to the sky. You could lower your back knee down and come through the tabletop and then rise up. So up to you, however you want to get there. It might be fun to lift the leg up and then find your dog pose. And breathe here. Pedaling your feet. Grounding hands, lifting hips, head between your arms. Engaging the fronts of your legs so that your heels can become heavy. Taking one more breath here. We'll shift our weight forward into our high plank. Lower your knees if you like to. And then slowly lower all the way down onto your belly. Uncurling toes, hands in line with your chest. Peel up, looping the shoulders down your back. And just a cobra a few times. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, peeling up. And exhale, lower down. Last time, inhale, peel up. Looping the shoulders down the back, lifting your heart, breathing across your collarbones. And then we'll press all the way up through hands and knees, or maybe you're going through your up dog, curl your toes under, down dog again, but just for a transition. That said, if you don't want to transition from dog pose, you could just come from your lunge and start to rise up to come back to a standing forward fold, right? You can just lift up and walk forward. But if you're in your dog, you can do your walking splits forward again. And then let's all meet up into our Uttanasana. However we got there, doesn't matter. Good. Rise up halfway. Exhale, fold, bend your knees, belly on thighs, strong legs will rise us all the way up to stand. Feel the strong legs and glutes rising you up. Arms by your sides. So let's do take a few breaths here. Noticing how you're feeling now. All right. So here we go, other side. So when we do the side bends before a sun salutation, it's Surya Namaskar C. A, B, C, so many, right? I think there's just 3. Here we go. Arms out to the sides, up to the sky. Let's fold to the left this time. Folding to the left. Again, you might want to bring that right leg back behind you. Back to center. Fold to the right. You can even bring that left leg back behind. Back to center. Tone the belly, elongate here, maybe take an extension, lifting your heart, lifting your gaze. Exhale, forward fold, hands through midline or swan dive, Uttanasana. Rise up, Ardha Uttanasana, get long. Feel the length through the side body, space between hips, rib cage, crown of head. And then take that length back into your fold. Send your right leg back, however you want to do it. Bend the left knee, low lunge, square your hips. Find your blocks if you need to. Pause for a moment, getting more length from crown of head to back heel. Lower the back leg, rise up, knee down, warrior 1. Stay straight here with like your hip right over your knee, or you can drop your pelvis forward, lift your sternum, take a little extension and feel a deeper stretch in the psoas. Up to you. See what feels good on this side. It may be different from what you expressed on the other side. And then slowly come back up, straighten your left leg, lower your hands down, Ardha Hanumanasana. So, draw that left hip back, straighten the leg to your ability, lift the toes. Inhale, lift up halfway, get long, tone your belly, and then melt your heart towards your leg. Go deeper into the fold. And breathe here. And then let's rise up. Ground your right hand onto the earth. Start to rotate to the left. So drawing that left hip back, lengthening your torso, rotating your heart, and gaze to the left side, maybe sending arm to sky. One more breath. Lower the hand down. Bend your knee, lift your back leg, rise up, low lunge. All right, and then when you're ready, we're gonna rise up to warrior one, however you wanna get there, using your left leg as support, core or leg strength, and then find your warrior one. Okay. So making sure the knee is over the ankle, hips are square, back legs active. You can bring your arms together, even taking an extension here, lifting your heart, gaze. And then wherever you ended up, let's straighten our front leg, ground our back leg. Oops, getting ready for our pyramid pose. So notice you might want to open up your feet a little bit, square the left hip back, right hip forward. Exhale, hinging forward, hinging until your torso is in line with your hips. Stay here, keeping your head at heart height, your head at hip height, or you can lower all the way down, head to knee. Again, back leg's the grounded leg. Front knee softens as needed. Keep drawing your left hip back and right hip forward. Maybe bring your hands onto the earth if you like. Maybe reaching back towards the back leg. And then yogis, let's lift up halfway. Plant our right hand onto the earth or a block. Keep your torso at heart height, at hip height, and then start to rotate your torso to the left. Again, the back leg grounds, the left hip keeps drawing back. Use your left hand to draw that left hip back, just to see where it is. Good. Again, softening your knee. You can still draw your hip back even if your knee is soft. Torso stays long, in line with your hip, and then maybe you extend your arm to the sky. Revolve triangle. Take one more breath, and then unwind. Soften your left knee. Go back through your dog pose. Maybe you're going to send that leg to the sky. Lower the foot down. Find your down dog in 3 breaths or so. And then we'll come forward to our full or modified plank. Lower onto our belly. Uncurl toes, peeling up into your cobra. Let's do that a couple times. Maybe each time you're going a little higher. You can decide if you're going to keep your belly down and you're going to stay in cobra, squeezing elbows and shoulder blades together. You might rise up into like a sort of a king cobra where you go a little higher but keeping your elbows soft. Or you may go all the way up to your upward facing dog where you lift your thighs, loop the shoulders down the back. And then press up or roll back, down dog last time, just for a transition. Take one full breath cycle and then start to make your way back to standing. Again, you could have come through a lunge. Always knowing to suit the practice to what you're feeling in your body. Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana. Uttanasana. Soften your knees, belly, and thighs. Rise all the way up with your strong legs. Arms by your side. Maybe bring a hand on the belly and a hand on your heart, taking a moment to notice how you're feeling now. Okay. All right. Nice work. All right, so let's do a balance pose before we return to the mat. Let's go by way of Utkatasana, and we will do our Garudasana. We'll do eagle pose today. You can add arms or not. We didn't do an excessive amount of shoulder openers, so just honor and worry about the legs. Going to get a good strengthener for our glutes and stretch for our IT band too. So here we go. Let's go by way of Utkatasana. So squatting down, sweeping fingers down towards the earth. Find your Utkatasana. In fact, even let's come out of it a couple of times. Let's go right into our Utkatasana. So lowering arms and then squatting back down. And then rising up and squatting back down. Good, last time. Good, so we added a little flow. Maybe you got deeper each time. Now stay here. You can bring your hands onto your hips if you want. Shift the weight into your right leg and pick up your left leg. But stay in your squat, right? This is kind of the reason I wanted to have us do it. So you stay in your squat, pick up that leg and cross it over, starting the wrap high, like you're crossing your legs in a chair. Keep that right leg bent. Draw your left hip back and stay here. Oops, had to grab a wall. Squeezing the legs together like one leg. Maybe your left foot rests on a block, it hangs out in space, or maybe it wraps around your right calf. You can bring your hands to prayer, or you could add your eagle arms by bringing the left elbow under the right and wrapping around. Take one more breath. And then use your strong right leg to rise you up as you then unwind. Nice work. Couple more times with our Utkatasana Vinyasa. Squatting down. And then strong legs rising up. As I rise up, I really press through my heels. I try to engage my glutes and hamstrings a little bit. See if you can do that. Bring some awareness to the back body. Now this next time, let's hold here. Lower your hands to your hips for a moment as you shift your weight to the left foot. Pick up the right leg, cross it over. Draw your right hip back. Find your, wherever you feel comfortable today. Maybe you need a prop or a wall. You bring hands to heart. Going into full eagle with left elbow under. Keep squeezing your groin together, your inner thighs. Keeping that standing leg bent as best you can. Elbows at shoulder height. Calm, easy breaths. Take one more breath cycle. And then use your strong standing leg to bring you to standing and release arms and legs. Good job. Let's take a few cleansing breaths here. Big inhale. Exhale it out with a sigh. Inhale. And exhale it out. Good, and one more. Big inhale. Getting long, 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 long. And then exhale, slowly lower your arms. Slowly, slowly. Grounding the energy. Preparing to come back onto our back. We will return to our back. You can have your blanket, if you like. I'm gonna put it under my whole back body. And then make sure you have your strap. Make sure you have your strap. Let's take a moment for a minute and just come into constructive rest. Knees bent, feet on the earth. Notice how you're feeling now.
Now you don't have to have a strap, so if you don't have one, that's okay. But if you have a strap, well, let's bring it around the heel or the ball of the right foot. Up to you. Just don't put it on the arch of your foot, not the fleshy part. Put it on like a real stable, bony structure. I generally like the heel, but you see what feels comfortable for you. All right, and then, we can pull that leg in, noticing how it feels after some of that work. You can keep your left leg bent, or you can straighten it onto the earth. Now put both ends of the strap in your left hand, and then let's let that leg go to the left. You can bring your right arm out like a T so you have some stability here. And we're taking this nice stretch for that IT bend. Now this might be a lot, so you might want to explore here, bending your knee and then bringing it towards straighter. In fact, let's go back up. Here's a good little exercise. From that starting position again, from 90, bring it to the left like maybe only 30 degrees. Stay there and notice how that feels. I mean, that's something right there. And keep that right, length on that right hip, so that right hip's drawing down, so the right side body is long. Then bend your knee here, straighten it, and maybe take the leg over a little bit more. Ooh, yeah. You can bend your leg and straighten it again. Maybe you can take it over a little bit more. So maybe when we go incrementally like this, and we even kind of bend, give it some release, and then extend, we're able to, get a little bit more of a stretch out of it. And breathing here, keeping your shoulders down, right arm grounded, bend the knee, and extend, maybe take it a little bit more. I'm really grounding my left leg too, so I have nice stability. I'm going to do one more time. I'm going to bend, straighten, take it over a little bit more. I don't know about you, but I find when I go slow like this and incrementally, I'm able to go a little bit more, and I'm able to keep some nice form. I'm able to keep some length on that right side, keep my hip from, well, it is still rolling over, but I'm keep my hips level. And then stay for a couple more breaths. And then you can bring that leg back to center. Oof. Maybe, both hands on the strap again, you can pull your leg in. And then you can use your strap to help guide the leg all the way down to the earth. You can just keep hold of the strap for a minute. Just let the leg drop out. Just let that release. Then you can even switch legs by placing the foot in the strap. Both, sets of toes are facing skyward, so you dorsiflexion to your feet and bring your left leg up. Get a little helper there. Find the placement of the strap, whether it's on the heel or the ball of the foot. You can pull that leg in for starters. Breathing, softening the knee and straightening. Maybe you even want to do that little technique here. And then let's put both ends of the strap in our right hand. Left arm goes out to the left. First, just send that leg a little bit over to the right, like 30 degrees. Notice how it feels. I mean, it's amazing. That's like sensational right there. Just even the tiniest angle. And then bend the knee and straighten it. Maybe you're going to take it a little bit more to the right. Even bend and straighten and take it and hold. And then bend, straighten it a little bit more to the right. And we do that again. Bend, straighten, taking a little bit more to the right. Keeping the right leg and shoulders and left arm grounded for support. Keep the breath flowing freely. Maybe bend again and extend, taking it a little farther over to the right. Keep drawing your left hip down, so you're lengthening through the left body, left side body. Maybe again, bend and straighten, take it a little bit more. One more time. Breathing here in your fullest expression. And then, yogis, you can bring that leg back up to center. You can take each end of the strap with both hands, pull it in. Good. And then slowly using both ends of the strap, guide that leg down to the earth. This time, just release the strap and let your feet drop out to the sides. And notice how you're feeling now. Just take a moment to notice how that's feeling. Notice if there's any last stretches that you need now to sink a little bit more comfortably into your final relaxation. If that is the case, then please take that now. But if you're ready for Shavasana, just take a big inhale and exhale it out with a sigh. Big inhale again, exhale it out. Release your jaw, give it a wiggle. Release the tongue from the roof of your mouth. Letting go of any tension. Letting your legs drop out to the sides, feeling a grounding through your pelvis, arms by your sides. If you even press the backs of your hands down so you can lift your shoulders up, draw your shoulder blades together, and then lower back down. So you're broad across your heart. So we can rest here now with our open palms and our open heart to integrate the work we just did. Restore our vital energy and absorb the Shanti, the peace of yoga.
Open your heart to universal love. We live in a magical, living, vital, and personal universe. A world where universal love is real. We don't just live in it, we're part of it, visibly and tangibly connected to it. The phone call that comes at the right time, a book that teaches us what we need to know, a movie that has the message we need to guide us and open our hearts, an opportunity that arises at just the right moment, an idea triggered by something someone says or an object we didn't notice before. The more we're open to universal love, the more it will be there for us, embracing, loving, holding, guiding us. The more we learn to see it, the more it will be there until we wonder why we never saw it before. Open your heart to universal love. It's more than merely there, it's there for you. Jump into the arms of a living, magical world, and you leap into the arms of universal love. See how real it can be. So allow your breath to deepen. Gently rock your head from side to side. Bring movement to fingers and toes. Take a big inhale and exhale it out with a sigh. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead and take a big stretch. Reach up through fingers, down through toes, tuck chin into chest. And exhale and release. You can give your legs a squeeze if you like, or roll over, or simply roll over to your right side with straight legs. And then when you're ready, come up to a comfortable seat, connecting sits bones to earth, lengthening through crown of head. Drawing hands together at heart center. And dropping your head into your heart in gratitude. And then we'll seal our practice by joining our voices in the sound of Om. The divine light in me honors the divine light in you. Namaste.